Hello, hello, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our daily get together live here on Facebook, 10:30 in the morning, every day of the week, where we examine headlines, comments, questions, ideas, suggestions as to how to better have an awesome life here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community of local people. It is always a pleasure to get together with each and every one of you, and it is always a pleasure to welcome new friends into this cluster that you have created, this wonderful community of local people. So if this is your first time visiting, please let us know. You can always let us know by writing the word new in your comments, and that way we will give you a good welcome. Also, if you have important points to bring up, please write the letter Q at the beginning of your remark so that we can get to it during the broadcast if possible. If not, we will get to it shortly thereafter. It is great to see you all. It is great to see you all. There's a few news items that I have. Some are headlines and some are just things that I've seen here and there. Needless to say, there are a lot of people that are here in Puerto Vallarta that are concerned about this new testing requirements entering the United States. There are a lot of tourists that are concerned about this. And the beautiful thing, well, not the beautiful thing, but a lot of local organizations, from private businesses to airlines to Facebook groups, everybody is turning out to try to provide the best possible information and alternatives for anyone that is considering coming down or thinking about going back into the United States. I know for a fact that the airports are starting to, there are no official headlines yet, but airports are starting to find ways in which they can provide the testing for people literally as they hop on the plane. I know there are hotels that are taking care of their own guests. So if you are on the fence, undecided as to whether to come or not, there are resources out there. I'm not saying you should, I'm not saying you should not, but the best thing to do is to reach out to the community and to reach out to reliable sources of information. So with that said, I want to make sure that I take a quick look at who's in the house, because it's always great to see good friends. El Centro's in the house. Good morning, Jill. It's great to see you. Kelly, I know that you're probably thinking, should I come to Puerto Vallarta or not? Again, the information is out there, and hopefully you'll be able to make a decision that works for you. Let's see. Did I see? Yes, I did. Where are you? I know I saw you. There you are. My dear Dr. Hartman. You know, Mark Hartman, who cures all my musical blues, is here in the house. We talked about Gura Gabor the other day, and we talked about everything or anything that Mark does, and I'm never going to tire of saying it. If you see Mark's name in print, that means he's producing or musical directing a fabulous show in town. Don't miss him in anything that he's doing, except for taking a shower. He may not want to be seen while he's taking a shower. But then again, what do I know? He's an adult. Let's see. Kathleen is with us. It's always great to see you, dear friend. Um, uh, oh my goodness, Kathleen has purchased a condo in Puerto Vallarta. Congratulations. Welcome to the fold. Welcome to finding out where to pay your property tax. Welcome to finding out how to talk to Ciapal and the waterworks. This is what Coffee and Headlines is all about, a place to get resources for those of us that live here year around. Let's see what else. But you don't need a test if you're a US citizen, do you? Yes, you do, James. Everybody and anybody that is entering the United States, starting on, I believe it's the 26th of this month, anybody that is entering the United States will require a COVID 19 negative test that has been taken 3 days prior to entering the country. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, wonderful, Lucas. Lucas for Claude. Lucas, the show is about you today because today we're going to talk about Patricia Gawle, the wonderful ceramic artist that works and lives here in Puerto Vallarta, because I know that you're interested in taking some courses. So I did some homework and we're going to give her a little bit of love during, excuse me, during the broadcast. Um, can results from a COVID test in PV be obtained within 3 days? Or will that require more moneda? Of course, they can be obtained within 3 days. I don't know exactly the details as to how long the results take to come back to you. If it's a super fast test, I got results when I got tested in 5 minutes. But then again, I'm not sure that that is the test that you need to take. Again, the best place to look for is your consulate, airlines, the government. I mean, these are the places that probably have the very specific, very reliable answers about this. Uh, Gina says we're finally going to have our coffee date. I would love to get together with you, Gina. I want to hear all the trials and tribulations of being of working on a plane, of being a flight attendant, a stewardess. I don't even know what the correct term is anymore. I've been living in my house in Luna. She keeps me busy. What about driving from PV to US? Folks, anybody entering the United States of America by plane, by bus, by burro, by yacht is going to need to present a COVID 19 negative test. Especially if you're traveling by burro, that's not going to be comfortable, is it? Let's see. What else do we have? Ay, 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 ay. Oh, Kelly thinks he's all set. Good for you. See, that's the thing to do. If Kelly went ahead and got his appointment for a test while in the United States prior to arriving to Puerto Vallarta, there is a tourist or a traveler that is doing his homework. So that's the thing to do. That's the thing to do. Steve Elfers, are there COVID 19 tests available for the Mexican citizens as they seem to be for the tourists now? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. You can walk into any test, any lab, and request a COVID 19 test. So they are available for anyone. Let's see. Michael is arriving tomorrow. Hooray! Let's see. I think the test is required. Yes, I tell you, it is required for everyone, even the burro riders. Let's see. Do I think they should offer rapid tests at all airports? You know, I think that helps a lot. But if you are someone who's not entirely, okay, let's put it this way. We don't, we know there are good things to take care of ourselves, like the mask and the distancing, et cetera, et cetera. I would hate arriving to the airport, about to board a plane, and getting a pinch or whatever, and then finding out, oh no, you're COVID-19 positive, and you cannot board your flight, which is about to leave, which you may not be able to cancel. I mean, I don't know that I would want to wait until I get to the airport to fly back to the United States, but it's yet another option. If you came here and had a completely safe trip, and you're confident that you don't have the virus and you didn't participate in activities that might have been conducive to catching the virus, I would feel fine about taking it right on the airport as I head back into my country. Let's see. Let's see. All these questions. Okay, but they're important questions. Everybody is concerned about this business of the testing, and we're trying to be as helpful and as informative as we can. We do have a show to go through. We have a couple of news items about the vaccines and whatnot, and everything else, for better or worse, is a little bit on the light side. And of course, we have the walking tour that we couldn't do yesterday. And as I mentioned just a second ago, we have a little bit of love for an amazing artist that works here in town that teaches and sells her whimsical creations at her gallery. So I hope you will enjoy the broadcast as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Let's get started. The vaccine is in Puerto Vallarta, as we know, and the vaccine is also in Nayarit. There was a nurse, the first person in Nayarit to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. We find out that the vaccination began. This is a news item from yesterday. So vaccination began in Nayarit yesterday. It was Oralia Ramirez Torres, a 53-year-old nurse who was the first person to receive the vaccine in our neighbor state. This is wonderful news because we are just getting closer and closer every single day to having more people vaccinated. It's going to take a while, but it's good that it is happening. Now, we don't like to share morbid news, but this is important. The Congress, the state Congress for the state of Jalisco has authorized discounts in funeral costs for people that die from COVID-19, or rather for their family and relatives. The discount can be of up to 100%, but each ayuntamiento, oh my God, I'm at a loss of words. Each municipality gets to decide how much of a discount you get. So needless to say, we don't want anybody to die of COVID-19. But if you should happen to have a loved one or happen to know of a loved one who succumbs to the virus, it is helpful to know that the state of Jalisco is now offering discounts for funerary services. I feel so sad giving these kinds of news, but I do think it is important that we know about these things. I think it's important that we are prepared. The next news item is, let's just get started with the leisure stuff because that's what everything else is, a little bit on the lighter side. Hang on. And we start with the weather, of course. It is 24 degrees Celsius. It feels like 25 degrees. And that is an equivalent of 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 50% today. And our weather forecast tells us that it's going to be partly cloudy through the day with a high temperature of 28, low temperature of 17. Tomorrow, Friday, it's going to be partly cloudy through the day with high temperature of 28, low temperature of 17. And then Saturday, mostly cloudy through the day. 28 degrees will be the high temperature. 17 degrees will be the low temperature for Saturday. Hopefully, we'll be able to go out and walk and do some things that we need to do. And what I want to continue with is something that may not seem important, but maybe you are on the same boat as I am. Every now and then, I like to print photographs because I like to put photographs on my wall or things like that. And my usual go-to place had been Costco. But of course, several months ago, Costco has decided to stop providing photographic services in Mexico. And now we find out that they've done the same thing in the United States and Canada. So if this is sparkling despair among customers in other cities, just imagine what happens here in Puerto Vallarta, where the city is small and the resources are limited. And the bottom line is, where on earth do you go to print a freaking photograph these days here in Puerto Vallarta? Well, fortunately, a friend of mine told me that there is a place in Pitillal where you can do this. Pitillal, of course, we know is that wonderful, very Mexican neighborhood that is part of Puerto Vallarta. Some people call it Pity City. So other people call it Pity York, because you can find everything there. And everything seems to indicate that it is more than time. It is way overdue to go and do a walking tour of Pitillal, because there are a handful of great stores in Pitillal where you can find very specific items that you might be looking for. And of course, there are eateries and wonderful things to explore in this very Mexican neighborhood. So I think my fate, I'm getting signs that it's time to go walk around Pitillal and share Pitillal with the community here. But not today. Today, we're going to take another walk that we have prepared along the river, as I told you yesterday. And of course, I also wanted to talk to you about Patricia Gawle, whose last name, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing properly. It's Gawle. And and as I mentioned yesterday, my friend Lucas is very interested in taking ceramic classes with her. And as it turns out, I was walking right past her art gallery a couple of days ago, and I figured I'm going to go in and say hello. But before I tell you the whole story, let me show you a little bit about her by showing you her Facebook page. For starters, I mean, look at her front image. This little creature, which looks like a dog with wings, is made of ceramic. And I love Patricia's work because she has this eye and for these whimsical creatures that are just absolutely beautiful. And they are, as she calls it, functional. And she does all kinds of crazy, wonderful things. And if you browse through her Facebook page, there are all these wonderful look at that. I think that is just a beautiful piece. So anyhow, I walked in to see my friend Patricia. She has an art gallery on Basilio Vadillo, about half a block away from Encanto, actually. Not Encanto, from Act Two. And I tried to connect with her to see what she's up to. She teaches ceramics both at her gallery, and she also teaches ceramics in El Tubito, because she has built a house there. This is another view of her beautiful art gallery. As you see, she has some very functional items there, and she has some other beautiful items that you can purchase. And there is a workshop right then and there. Anyhow, I was having a good time connecting with Patricia, and Patricia tells me that number one, she is continuing to teach her workshops here in town and also doing more immersive workshops in El Tubito. You may wonder why El Tubito? Well, many years ago, she discovered that the clay, the dirt, the earth in El Tubito is very, very good for doing ceramics. So she has an operation here, she has an operation there. So I cannot tell you enough about her. She creates beautiful, wonderful things. And she has, Luna is fascinating. Somebody says, Luna is being lazy today, Andrea. She's just chilling because it's cold. Anyhow, Patricia, what is great about her is that she teaches, she sells, she's productive, etc., etc. But she has now found out that she needs to vacate her studio on Basilio Vadilla because the landlord said, you have to go, which is unfortunate. So feel free to get to know her. Feel free to stop by her art gallery. It is absolutely beautiful. Please feel free to tell her that you heard about her here. And if you want to learn how to create your own ceramic sculptures, you should definitely go to her because she is absolutely phenomenal. And I think that's all I have about her. Let me take a quick look. No, let me continue on with... let's do this. I'm going to continue with another headline. This is about an international film festival that has arrived in Puerto Vallarta. Yes, we have a film festival that is taking place starting today and continuing all the way up till February the 7th. And this is involving screenings that take place at the auditorium at the Cultural Center at the Isla Rio Cuale. They have 2 screenings per day. One is at 5 p.m. The other one is at 7 p.m. If we look at the Facebook page for the Kuala Cultural Center, they have created a whole list of the movies that you can attend and when they're going to be screened. There are several things to consider here. The movies are free to watch. We don't know, because the information is not provided, whether the movies are going to be screened inside of the theater or if they're going to be screened outdoors, al fresco, which they sometimes do. We also don't know the names of the movie titles in English. The titles are in Spanish, and the titles in Spanish may or may not um, reflect any relationship to the titles in English. We have talked about this before, or maybe we haven't. A lot of times when movies have a title in English, it gets translated by people in the marketing department, not people in the editorial department. So it sometimes becomes difficult to recognize the movies by the title. So if you are in the neighborhood of Isla Rio Cuale and you want to go explore, this is the way to do it. Angelica Vargas is asking for what kind of movies. Well, that's the question. The movie titles, again, are available in English, in Spanish, and it's a matter of taking a close look at the page that the Institute of Culture has on Facebook, and I will share with you the bookmark for that page so you can check it out on your time. And while we're here, let's take a look at some of your comments. Yes, James comments that they had a setup for movies, an outdoor setup for movies, which for me, it feels absolutely comfortable and safe. But again, if I'm an English speaker and I'm watching a movie from another country, I don't know if it's going to be shown in English or the original language or with subtitles or what goes on. But hey, this is where we become adventurous. This is where we decide, okay, I'm going to go take a walk around the Isla Rio Cuale. And the gas company seems to always want to crash my broadcasts. That's okay. Anyhow, go take a look. Go take a look. Go out for a walk. I've been going out for walks now that the weather is nicer, and it really, really helps me clear my mind from all this time spent at home. Let me take a quick look at some of your comments. Let's see. Boom, ba-ding, bum, 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 bum. Oh, please, no, Sean. No, not another club. Let us hope that is not what they're going to do with that beautiful gallery space. Let's see. Love ceramics, says Christy. Well, I tell you, Christy, if you haven't discovered the work that Patricia makes, it is absolutely wonderful. Let us see what else is going on. What a beautiful gallery, says Renee. Absolutely. And Kim offers some resources for print PV. This is right for printing photographs. Thank you very much. I'm going to go check it out. I always thought that print PV only printed big banners and stuff, but I know the owner. He's a good guy. Jorge says that one looked like a penis. I wonder if that refers to one of the sculptures. Hey, you never know. Let's see. What else do we have? Photo Flash is over by the Maritime Terminal. Also good for prints. Oh, thank you so much, Jeannie. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. Matthew asks a fabulous question. Is there a Sanborns in PV? There is not. And for those of you that don't know what Sanborns is a franchise of wonderful businesses throughout large cities in Mexico that include a drugstore, a magazine and bookstore, a restaurant, bakery, gifts, so forth and so on. And parenthetically, Sanborns are notoriously cruisy for gay men. They have been historically. But no, we don't have a Sanborns in town. We have been hoping to get a Sanborns in town, but not quite yet. Raymond says, someday my prince will come. You guys are so punny. I love it. Thank you very much, Michael. I will definitely look for a place in Plaza Caracol. That is so funny because this is all places that I frequent, but I'm never looking for it until I think I need to print photographs. Anyhow, this brings me to our walking tour. And this is a walking tour of Las Canoas. Las Canoas is this neighborhood that is right next to the river. And I must say that whereas I'm so very happy where I live, there's a part of me that has always wanted to live close to the Quale River, because I have friends that have homes right next to the river or apartments and whatnot, and the sound of the river moving is something that I really wish I had access to. Since I don't, I just turn the radio on and look for waves or whatever. But here it is. Here it is. I took this walk a few days ago, and I wanted to share it with you. And I'm going to stick around so that we can watch it and enjoy it together. It's about 15 minutes or so. Take a look. Hello. I'm standing right at the Libramiento. Behind me is El Camarón Loco, and this is a restaurant that is never open. But this is my favorite meeting point for when I go walking up the Rio Quale with my friends. But instead of heading up towards Paso Ancho, as I usually like to do, I figured today would be a good day to explore the Rio Quale, the banks of the Rio Quale, but instead of heading towards the mountains, we're going to head into town. So we're going to explore the Rio. We're going to walk into a neighborhood which is called Las Canoas. And again, instead of going in that direction, we're going to take a right. And that's the path that we're going to follow. We're essentially going to stay next to the river through the whole thing. Why would we want to do this? Well, for starters, because it's a fun walk. A lot of us are familiar with the Rio Quale in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, but don't frequently get curious enough about it to keep walking its banks. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm walking under the Libramiento Bridge and headed back into town. And as I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about this neighborhood. But for starters, we're walking along a street called La Ribera. That's the name of this street. And the name of the neighborhood is Las Canoas. Now, Las Canoas, like some of these neighborhoods that are in the outskirts of Emiliano Zapata, has had a bad reputation in the past. But like many neighborhoods in the city, you know, you find a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So is it a safe neighborhood? Probably. Is it a neighborhood where there's a lot of crime? Probably. I know at least 2 English-speaking friends that live around here. So I can imagine this is an option for anyone that is looking to be close to Emiliano Zapata, but not quite in the thick of it. Yes, the Red Cabbage is not far from where I was. That's exactly how I feel about it, James. You have to be as careful or as not careful as any other neighborhood. I would live there in a heartbeat. Coming up here on the right-hand side, I see a cute building. And there's a dead-end street. I think it's a dead-end street. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, the street seems to just go as far as 1 block in that direction. But again, I mean, the more one starts walking these neighborhoods, the more one realizes that there are options to be pursued. Actually, these 2 buildings are rather cute. One seems to be an apartment building. Another one seems to be a single-family home. And again, this is right against the river. There's a sign for rent there, which goes to say that a lot of times when you're looking for where to live, sometimes the best options can be found by simply walking the neighborhoods. Look at this gorgeous home that somebody built here. I mean, it's a small piece of land, but that is really cute. And the place next door is for sale by owner, and it also looks really, really cute. Wow. Check out that formation on the river. That looks way too deliberate. I wonder if somebody put that together to be able to go swimming. And there are all these access points that allow you to go down there and explore if you feel so inclined. What I like about this is that, you know, it is close to nature. It is so surprisingly close to Emiliano Zapata and so easy to get to. Buenas tardes. If you were to take that suspension bridge, you would probably end up near where the red cabbage is, because it is on the other side of the river, by the way. This I filmed on Tuesday because Walking Wednesday was yesterday, and unfortunately, when I was editing, I was not able to export the video, which is why we couldn't show it yesterday. But here we are. If you look closely, there's a bridge coming up on the left side. Buenas tardes. And that bridge is important because that bridge is what connects this neighborhood with Emiliano Zapata. And we're going to go up that bridge in a second, just so that you can see how the pieces fit together. Buenas tardes. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, thereabouts. Okay. And now I'm going to cross the street, and I am now walking along Lázaro Cárdenas Street. Yes, this is the same street that is next to the Lázaro Cárdenas Park by the beach. So if I continued walking that way, I would end up right on the beach. But this is a good place to take in the river, and you would not be able to see it with this camera, but from where I'm standing, I am counting 1, 2, 3 enormous iguanas. Again, I don't have a zoom lens on me. Oh, 4. There's another iguana over there. So clearly iguanas have come to set up shop in this part of town. So it would be so very easy to continue walking down Lázaro Cárdenas. But what I want to do is follow the river, because even though there isn't a real path, the neighborhood that lives around here, or the neighbors, have teamed up with the city. Well, actually, I don't know who paid for it, but there have been some improvements in this part of the riverbank such that one can enjoy a nice walk. Buenas tardes. So here we are. And here's Buenas tardes. Balam, balam. Here's a little eatery right next to the river. Buenas tardes. Hey.
¡Qué show!
¿Qué show? Es lo que digo yo. Somebody recognized me. How scary. Okay, so here we go. We are walking now on the opposite side of the river. We are in Emiliano Zapata, and this is beautiful. You know? In fact, this is an area of town right against the river that I've always been kind of envious about, people that are able to live around here. Again, it didn't used to be nearly as safe as it is right now, but it is very safe from what I understand. Neighbors take good care of one another and take good care of the surrounding areas.
If that's your neighborhood, William, I'm jealous. I love it around there.
A very different area from what we know near the beach. And that's the beautiful thing about Colonia Emiliano Zapata. The closer, it is a Mexican colonia, it is a Mexican neighborhood. And the closer you get to the beach, the more touristy it feels. But the more you walk away from the beach, the more you get a sense as to the truly traditional Mexican origins of the neighborhood.
I actually don't remember the exact name of this particular street, David, but it should be listed on a Google map. It's just right on the edge of the river. And yes, James, they did a really nice job in just creating that pavement, that paved rock. It's really beautiful. And yes, there are plenty of roosters.
Buenas tardes. Now, check out this little enclave that somebody has fenced around the bank of the river. This is public property, but somebody went ahead and created this little hideaway. Is this lawful? Probably not. Could we hold it against them? We probably could, but would we want to? Probably not.
It's Mexican
Buenas
property
tardes.
law.
And if you ask me, it's a very economical way to develop your own front porch.
It was about 4 o'clock, Christy, that I did my walk.
Buenas tardes. As always, I insist on saying hello to everyone. If they say hello back, great. If not, what do you know? Buenas tardes. There, we just passed a soul that doesn't understand the value of good afternoon.
Some people just don't smile.
But that's okay. So we are continuing. We are actually getting quite close to, oh my gosh, that's interesting to look at. See, right behind, I read about this, but I hadn't seen it. Right behind the Isla Rio Cuale, they have been building and guarding the cultural center, preventing floods from coming in. And now I can see among the trees how they have built a higher Let me see if we can get closer. I think we can.
Actually, Michael, I wouldn't be so sure.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Actually, I found some steps. Let's go exploring.
That's correct. That's exactly what I wanted to go and explore, James. The new breakwater. And
Interesting. Okay, so we are now standing on the back of the Gawle Cultural Center. The city has obviously built this reinforcement to keep the water from climbing up onto the island and damaging the property in there. And I bet many of you have not seen it from this angle. Let me go back to the road so we can head towards the end of this short little walk. Of course, on the other side is Gringo Gulch.
The river's very low right now, Don. Definitely. And it comes a lot higher during the rain season. We're almost to the end.
And we have reached the end of the path that follows the river. We can actually go back onto the river by just walking around this building over here, which is now a restaurant. So if we walk around this building, we can continue this way. And we find ourselves at the first suspended bridge that allows us access onto the Isla Rio Gawle. We've walked up and down this bridge before, but I figured this would be a good way for you to make a connection in terms of what you can enjoy. So next time you find yourself walking in this direction, know that you can continue walking forward and check out the rest of the river and seeing what's available up there to explore. I hope you do it someday. Have a good time.
And that was our little exploration around the banks of the Rio Gawle. Again, I had a wonderful time walking that area. I've walked it before, but I hadn't in a while. And for me, it is a constant reminder that there are a lot of places to be explored on foot. So when I hear from people, for example, that say, I'm looking for an apartment and how do I find one and so forth and so on. Well, a lot of people would answer, go to a real estate office, but something that really helps is to go out and walk the neighborhood on your own so that you can make better decisions about it. Terry asks,
A very important question. What do people mean when they say an authentic Mexican neighbor? Do they mean someplace where mostly Mexican people live? I am the only foreign resident in my neighborhood in Nueva Vallarta, yet people are quick to tell me I don't live in the real Mexico. Do people think that the real Mexicans don't live in modern homes with great amenities? Oh dear, what a complicated question, but I'm happy to answer it. I think for me, Nueva Vallarta does not feel authentic because for me, when I enter Nueva Vallarta, I feel like I'm walking through a neighborhood in Florida. But that does not mean that Mexicans do not have beautiful homes and beautiful gardens, et cetera, et cetera. I think that neighborhood living is much more typical of in Mexico than big residential stuff. Although, if you go to any large city, um, if you go to any large city, you're going to find neighborhoods that have beautiful mansions and residences and whatnot. So that's what people mean by a Mexican neighborhood. With all due respect, would I live in Nueva Vallarta? Actually, I wouldn't because it doesn't have the quality that I feel I need in my soul to feel like I am living in Mexico. But again, the beautiful thing about living in this in the Bay is that there is something for everyone, and that is what it is. Let's see if there are any other comments and last minute questions. Any sign of Babel Bar coming back? I actually don't know. I know that the owners are out of there. I don't know if there are new owners that are going to come up with a new concept. But as soon as we hear about it, Liz, we will be, of course, mentioning it here and wishing them well. Let's see what else we have. Bam, 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 bam. Next time, my hood, Caloso. Maybe yes, we can head into Caloso. There are so many neighborhoods. That are worth exploring. Um, da, 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 da. Let's see. I need to visit your neighborhood. Someday, Terry. Someday, I will visit your neighborhood. Absolutely. And I see that we are here and we are at the end of the broadcast. I'm so glad that we made it, and I am so grateful that you've joined us in in today's broadcast, in today's program. Of course, tomorrow we'll be back with more news and headlines and coffee and all the wonderful things that we enjoy together. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of this community. Thank you so much for your comments, your questions, your feedback. It helps us stay on track with the kind of information that you find valuable. If you find information valuable here, please remember that we are a community funded project. You can always look at the link down there for more details. And of course, stay kind, stay happy, stay healthy, stay walking. It's such great temperature right now, such great weather for going out walking and exploring the city we love so much. And I hope to see you again sometime soon, hopefully, maybe even tomorrow. Have a great day.